You know when you're really in the mood, but you don't have access to a douche, but at the same time you really want to do it, so you just kind of do it and accept the fact that it's going to be a mess and worry about that later. Well, that's kind of what it's like playing The Sims 4 right now. You kind of open the game knowing that it's going to be a bit messy, but you don't really deal with the consequences until you're kind of deep in the game, and then you realize, oh my god, I've just wasted all my time doing this. And no, this is not food on my lip. I have a spot. I'm human, get over it. I do also have Hello Kitty earrings because I'm an absolute, I can't say the word on YouTube or I get banned. You know what the word is? The British word for meatballs and cigarettes. Anyway, The Sims 4 is a diabolical state today. Well, it has been for a few weeks. So the first issue that I've been experiencing and a lot of other people have been pretty much 100% of people are experiencing is raining indoors. I haven't actually tested it with snow because it hasn't been snowing in my game lately. Is it also snowing indoors? You guys let me know if that's the case for you, but for me, it's raining indoors all the time, and it feels like this issue has been going on for ages now. I definitely remember seeing people complain about this around January time, so it's been like 5 months since then now, and it still hasn't been fixed. And then obviously we've got For Rent, which doesn't affect everybody, unlike Seasons, which is very popular. I think For Rent's a little bit more niche, and people who have this pack are regularly seeing game corruption. Typically people who play on like a longer lifespan, people who have a lot of residential rentals in their world, they're seeing a lot of bugs and glitches and issues, and this honestly just seems to have been the case ever since For Rent has been released, and I don't truly know if it is actually fixable. I feel like it's something that's always just going to end up cropping up and causing corruption because that's what it seems to have done ever since release. So why would it change? Because EA are not changing. Honestly, I think the For Rent one is one of the worst ones because you literally can't enjoy the features, and it's not like The Sims 4 Dine Out or My Wedding Stories, because with Dine Out you just can't like use the pack. The pack itself is faulty. My Wedding Stories is also a faulty pack, but it just is limited to that pack. With the For Rent issue, it corrupts your whole save file, so it's not just limited to that pack, which makes it quite a lot worse. And in addition to that, people are just a little bit annoyed about all of the small bugs. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch my Let's Play videos, but like I encounter a bug like in every like scene of the YouTube video. There's always some kind of bug getting in the way, and it's just like all of these small things that I think add up over time in order to make it a terrible experience. And I think it puts The Sims 4 in a really difficult place right now where it's mostly not very playable. Another thing, okay, I was gonna say, because something that we can always rely on really is build mode. Saying that, sometimes build mode lags. It's one of those things where it's like, it's not like live mode, build mode doesn't break your game. Well, build mode has been bugging out a lot lately. People are seeing items missing. That could be certain pack items, kit items, or even base game items missing from their build catalog. Items not being categorized correctly at all. And in addition to that, I personally am seeing some debug items in my regular build catalog. Is very strange why all this is happening. I personally thought it was because EA was raring up to do like some kind of big build catalog update for the game, but why would they give us a free update like that? Like, why would they do something useful if it's not earning them any money? So I highly doubt that's it. I think it's just bugging out and they haven't really fixed it. And the worst thing is, because all these things are so small, I think a lot of them genuinely don't get reported on the EA Help website. And I don't know if you guys have ever tried to report something on there. I actually tried to once in a YouTube video, and the bug reporting forum website actually bugged out on me. The forum where you're supposed to log glitches glitched out, so I couldn't actually log my in-game glitch, which was just so funny. Of course, this is EA. So where does that leave us in terms of The Sims 4? Well, it obviously leaves us in a state where the game feels unplayable. Technically it is playable if you were to take me to a court of law, but it certainly is very frustrating. EA recently this year have just announced layoffs. I think it was around 300 off the top of my head, and that includes quality assurance staff, and quality assurance is another way of saying game testers. In other words, people who assure the quality of a game. And that's really upsetting, especially seeing that the Sims team did make that kind of promise a while ago where they made an announcement on Twitter how they're going to work really hard on improving the game. They've just kind of forgotten about it and given up. It seems to be that EA is slacking off in terms of their care for their customers right now. The people who've spent over $1,000 on The Sims 4, despite being quite broken, they don't seem to be hurrying up and fixing things. In fact, they seem more bothered to just churn out more and more DLC. Hence why this season for The Sims 4, we've had 10 kits. That's right, we have had 10 kits already in 2025, which is just insane. They are honestly just churning out the content without churning out fixes for the content that they're churning out. And what happens when you churn somebody out and they haven't douched? It's messy. The total messy state of The Sims 4 right now is not the worst it's ever been in. We've definitely had worse. But in the past, when we've had worse, they've kind of just said like, oh, we're fixing it. Like they take it quite seriously, but they haven't really been taking it that seriously lately. And do you know what's even worse? Allegedly, The Sims 4 or EA, I don't know, because you guys know I'm stupid and I don't research things. Apparently this quarter, either EA or The Sims has had its like most profitable quarter ever. Allegedly, because I don't bother researching things because I'm lazy, but I think it's true. I just can't believe you guys are just buying kits. Are you guys really buying every single? I'm genuine. I'm not even like slut shaming you here. I'm just like asking a genuine question. And I know YouTubers always say, make sure you leave a comment for the algorithm. I'm genuinely not saying, I'm just honestly so curious right now. Like, do you guys buy every single kit? Whether you're a console player or not, honestly, like, do you buy it and why do you buy? That's just what I'm asking. I'm genuinely curious. I mean, I buy them all as a content creator because you guys like to see my reviews. You got a lot of people know me as the review YouTuber. Most Sims YouTubers, including those in the EA Creator Network, honestly don't buy every single kit. All of my YouTube friends, like barely any of them buy any kits because they just don't care about them. I'm one of the only ones that does. So I'm just a little bit curious as to why so many Sims players do buy them, even though I think they're not really that special and don't really add anything. But then I guess they're only like $5 or whatever, and you know, you could spend that money on a coffee or something, I don't know. But then most people are more than willing to not go to Starbucks because they like to boycott Starbucks for whatever reason, but at the same time, they're not willing to give up Sims 4 packs. So is it an addiction problem? I don't know. The Sims 4 is in a worse state than ever, yet it's more profitable than ever. But because EA are a profit first, player experience later company, like they're clearly just going to churn out more and more shit. How long can it go on for, genuinely? How much? Like, I do not know any other game on this entire planet that costs over $1,000. Even it's probably over £1,000 now, given the current economy. Thanks Reform UK voters. I just don't understand how a game can cost that much money yet be one of the buggiest games, in fact the buggiest game I think I've ever played in my entire life. Like, it's just one big faulty product at this point. Every single Sims 4 pack pretty much gets either mixed or negative reviews. It's very rare that a pack gets very positive reviews unless it comes from a video game journalist who didn't bother playing it properly. It's just confusing to me how like Simmers just have such a negative opinion about The Sims 4, yet people keep buying the pack. Is it an addiction problem? I do think it is. This is a very unpopular opinion that's going to get me cancelled, and if me saying this makes you angry, it's basically because I'm right and you're deflecting. I feel like a lot of Simmers do have a parasocial relationship with the game itself because it is a fantasy reality. If you're depressed and or anxious and your real life is shit, then living in The Sims 4 virtual reality is almost just like an escape from real life problems. So of course, for these people, The Sims 4 literally is their life. So I think this is why, because I know whenever I make a video like this, people say SatchOnSims is a transphobic, fatphobic Nazi because he said this about The Sims 4. Like, it happens all the time. Like, you say what you want to say. And I think it's because these people genuinely feel like I am attacking their world because they live in The Sims 4. I mean, I'm sure that's the case for you guys. And as a social media influencer, however much that makes me cringe, that is what I am. And I would like to influence you guys to touch some grass today instead of playing The Sims 4. And no, I'm not minding my business. I'm getting in your business because you know I'm right. It's better for you to touch some grass, because I just feel like, I'm not saying like, you guys know I'm not woke. I'm not like boycott The Sims 4. Like, I'm not saying that. But what I'm just saying is, maybe if it's just like not working out for you, like if you spent over $1,000 on packs and like your game is still corrupting and broken as shit, and it's definitely not because you've got outdated mods, don't buy a pack for a while. They're not going anywhere. So I just feel like protesting with your wallet is definitely a good choice. I mean, pretty much every single Sims 4 pack review that I do is negative, because I know you guys are going to say, well, Satch, you still make videos on the packs, you still buy them all. Almost every single pack review I have is me saying, do not buy this pack. There's only a couple of rare occasions, like the Sims 4 Life and Death expansion pack, the second last release one. I was like, get that if you like occult stuff, because I thought it was actually really good. There are some occasions where I'm nice, but across the board, I typically say in all my reviews, don't get it, because I don't think it's worth it. I think if you really like want to get what you want as a player, you need to understand how EA works from their perspective. They just want your money. So if you don't give them your money, then they're gonna have to change the video game experience. I honestly don't think this is like just an issue with The Sims 4 and EA. I think it's an issue with the video game industry in general. Honestly, I feel like the video game, this is a bit of a tangent. I just feel like the video game industry in general, like it needs to crash. Like it 100% needs to crash. And you know, when you look at like the housing market, for example, like the government would never really let that crash because it's important, but the government don't even know what video games are. Like they're all dinosaurs. We don't even have great consumer protection laws with video games yet in like any country around the world. So I just feel like maybe the video game industry needs a big crash. I feel like everybody across the board needs to just stop buying every single video game, and honestly just like rubbing salt in the wound to the Sims situation. The fact that we're not getting a Sims 5 anymore, and Project Renee is just going to be some like bullshit mobile game like we know it. We have nothing to look forward to in terms of The Sims anymore, and it's a shame because The Sims was never this way. It was never ever this way. The Sims has always been a cash grab, 100% with the packs. Every single Sims game has, even The Sims 1. But The Sims 1, 2 and 3 were actually like great games. In fact, The Sims 3 is eligible under EA's great game guarantee, but The Sims 4 isn't. That's because even EA themselves are not confident in The Sims 4 in the same way that they were with The Sims 3. So even they know The Sims 4 is objectively worse than The Sims 3. Hence why they don't call it a great game, but they literally call The Sims 3 a great game. And you know, if you want to rub like even more salt into the room, like Inzoya's obviously flops. I'm doing a video on it soon. We all know it's flopped, and I think it's important to talk about why it's flopped. So it's like, we don't even have that to look forward to right now because it's also in its flop era. And Paralives, I can't even say if it's going well or flopping because I literally have no idea what they're doing with Paralives. Like they've been so AFK. There was also that video game Viva Land. Do you guys remember Viva Land? I think that one's dead. I have no idea what's going on with Viva Land. I think it's just dead. Do you guys remember those like scams back in the day where people would make up like life sim games? Like they pretend they were coming and like set up a Patreon or a GoFundMe, but then like the game would just never be made. Like that's what's basically happened with Viva Land at this point. I'm praying it doesn't happen with Paralives because that's the only one that's holding me together. Paralives is the only upcoming life sim that actually looks like it's all right. So I'm crossing my fingers and praying they don't fuck it up because I really want that one to release at least. If you want to know more about why games like Inzoy and Paralives are actually going to be hopefully making The Sims better, I would watch this video here where I explain it in more detail. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching this depressing video. I will see you in the next one.